If you want to continue to follow our adventure, click subscribe. So you don't miss anything, click the bell notification. When I was getting out of the Navy, I was on a submarine. I was about ready to get out, I had about 6 months left, and I knew I was going to get out, and everybody was saying goodbye, their final goodbyes to me. I had a senior chief, a very wise man, tell me as I was getting out, he says, you're going to remember all the good stuff for the rest of your life. You won't remember one bad thing that happened on that submarine. And even though I have held on to what he had told me for all those years, he's right. I can't remember any of the bad things. I remember having to work 6 hours on, 6 hours off. That was for a while. I remember that, but I don't remember how miserable that was. I remember that I felt like I was miserable, but I don't remember being miserable. If that makes any sense. Well, that's the same thing about what my YouTube channel is about. I really try to make this YouTube channel about what my senior chief told me about. Because I think that it is real easy for someone who is planning out their adventure to live in a van, maybe an RV. But if you're watching this channel, it's most likely going to be a small van or a Class C or something like that. But it's easy to see this right here and say, yeah, that's what I want to do. But it's not so easy to think, wow, what about all the work that goes into it? And that's what I tried to make my channel about, is the realities of the lifestyle. Look, this is the reality. You're absolutely right. This is the reality. There is an ocean where I get to spend the second half of my winter right there. And so to watch this video, you're thinking, oh man, I really want to go there or wherever, whatever YouTuber's got, that's where you want to go. It's not so easy to realize what I had to do to get here. I had to spend the first half of my winter in Missouri. It snowed twice before Thanksgiving. It's never snowed in Missouri before Thanksgiving. Not in my lifetime. Not that I can remember. I mean, it may have, but not anything that would have accumulated enough snow to get out of school. And then I was in a location on the big snowstorm that we had that got the most snow in that storm. I was in the spot that got 20 inches of snow. That was the struggle. That's when I tell you I tell you about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Well, there's the good right there. The bad and the ugly was the 20 inches of snow and the 2-degree weather. Even though that I had to endure that, this is still worth it to me, okay? Just like in your house. You may have 8 acres and a beautiful garden and a beautiful house and a beautiful this, and you really enjoy it. And it's easy for someone to come up to your house and visit you and say, wow, that is beautiful. Your garden is magnificent. See, I'm trying to make a connection here. This is my garden. Okay, get it? But what they didn't get to see was all the work that went into painting the house and making the garden and cutting the grass, trimming the hedges, how much money you had to spend to do it. So that's what I'm trying to explain to you. That in order to get to see this, there's a lot to do. I do more chores every day than I get to do this. I spend about 20 minutes a day now that I'm actually on the beach. I get to spend 20 minutes to maybe an hour a day right here on the beach. But I still got a lot of work I got to do every day. First thing I got to do is make an income. So, I got to do my job. And so that's something that you need to put into your checklist. And maybe that's what you need to do, is write down, okay, I'm going to spend an hour today. When you're dreaming out your plan, you need to write down, okay, here's my dream, is to see the ocean. But in order to see the ocean, I got to spend, 4 hours working to make money. And then I got to charge the battery. And if you're like me, out here under these trees, you don't got solar panels. And you got a refrigerator that uses a lot of power, and you got computers that use a lot of power. You have to run a generator. And so I run a generator for 6 hours a day. Well, I can leave the generator for short periods of time, but I don't leave it all for the entire 6 hours. So that means I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and I start the generator. So there's no really sleeping in for me. So you need to put those 6 hours onto your dream list. You know, every 2 to 3 days, you're going to have to, you know, set up your shower. Because, I mean, I take showers. Set up the shower. There's a half hour, 3 or 4 times a week. About once a week, I have to go get water. And that's a pretty big chore. I mean, you got to start the truck, you got to go. And then you got to go grocery shopping. You still got all your daily chores you got to do. You got to cook. You know, a lot of people say, why don't you cook on the campfire? Okay, but then wouldn't that take away from this? So we cook on the stove. Still have to do dishes. Now, see, these chores, in my opinion, are a little bit more difficult than the chores you have to do at home. When it comes to daily chores, I'm not talking about cutting the grass. Yeah, there isn't a chore that I got, really, that it equals the amount of work that it takes to cut the grass. But if you do dishes, you may have a dishwasher to do dishes in. You just throw the dishes in the dishwasher, you run it. Or you have a sink with running water. That's pretty handy too. Out here, even if you had a Class C, you probably wouldn't want to run the water because that's going to fill up your gray water tank. Well, what we do is we fill up a pan of water, literally a frying pan full of water with soap. We heat it up over the stove, and then we go out on the tailgate and we wash each dish and then rinse. What might take you 10 minutes to do dishes, it takes us 30 minutes. So that's the thing that I want you to understand, is the amount of effort it takes for each thing to do. Going to the bathroom is another thing. You know, your tanks are going to fill up. You're going to have to empty them. It means you have to drive around, you have to empty them. That takes away from this. And I've seen several in real life people who are all gung-ho about seeing this, but don't recognize the amount of effort it takes to see this. So for the good, bad, and ugly, the good is the positive, and the bad and ugly are the two negatives. So here's the positive right here. You know, I could die here. I would just, oh, this would be the perfect place. Little chair right here, sit down, and just go to sleep. Never wake up again. That would be awesome. That's the good. Thanks for watching. Click like if you like the video, and happy travels.